everyone, and welcome back to We Talk a Lot. I'm Abby.
I'm Emmy.
Today we have a special guest. Emmy decided to extend her stay back at home in Michigan with her parents and her family. So she's not here to film the podcast with me. Instead, we have Ryne, her amazing boyfriend who does so much and sacrifices so much for us and our YouTube and podcast careers. So I asked if he could join us. So Ryne, please introduce yourself to our audience.
I just came here for the dog.
He misses Gigi. Gigi, their dog, is actually with Emily right now in Michigan. So
I'm all alone. There's no one here beside me. I'm just kidding. But what was the question?
who are you? Introduce yourself to our audience.
I'm Ryne Rogers. I'm apartment 36.
Okay. Okay, that's too much.
That's too much? Okay.
What do you do for work, Ryne?
I work at a Sports Info Solutions in the IT ISO department as a IT associate. So I just deal mainly with security.
Layman's terms.
I make sure everybody's computer doesn't get corrupted and people don't give out
You're the computer guy.
Sure.
If somebody has trouble, you tell them, just have you tried restarting it?
Yeah, something about that.
That's what you tell them.
And by the way, she hasn't given me any instructions. Is this a podcast where I'm supposed to be looking at the audience, or is this instructions where it's a back and forth banter?
It's a conversation.
Okay.
Sometimes I look back at the camera, but mainly
Okay.
it's a conversation piece.
Okay. Gotcha. All right.
So I haven't really planned out stories today because I just kind of want to ask Ryne questions. I think he's such an interesting person. I've never really met someone like Ryne before. He has a lot of quirks. But
Abby doesn't make it out much.
Well, we all have quirks. I have my own issues. But there are a lot of things about Ryne that I just want to ask questions about. Number one, you have a thing about microwaves, and I really want to get into this. So you don't use microwaves at all. Why?
Very minimal. Do I use microwaves? There you go.
Like, when's the last time you used a microwave?
I microwave popcorn and whatnot. I usually don't use it when I'm using any type of Tupperware or.
Why? What is the point of this?
Anytime you boil water with plastic, you get some of that like runoff residue from the plastic, that oil, or not the oil, but whatever that leaches into your food. And
What if it's on a paper plate?
I don't know what the paper plate's made out of. It's just pure paper without any type of resin or anything like that. Unknown, but
What about a paper towel?
still unknown. But I never really warm stuff up in the microwave. I don't usually put flammables in the microwave.
You don't put paper towels in the microwave?
Yeah, I do often. Yeah, you're right, to cover up stuff.
Yeah, you cover things that so what is the issue? Like, what are you worried about when it seeps into your food?
Just probably the old 𝐨𝑧𝐥𝐢 carcinogens and whatnot, but
Cause cancer?
Cause cancer and have other ill side effects.
What's your biggest fear? Is cancer your biggest fear?
No, it's just something I like to avoid.
Wait, what is your biggest fear, though? Tell me. Like, your deepest, darkest fear that, like, you only tell your therapist. Do you have a therapist?
I do not.
Oh, my God, you should have a therapist.
That's why I'm here on this podcast. I thought this was what the podcast was.
Yeah. Therapy with Abby and Ryne.
Yeah.
That'd be a great podcast.
It's like Charlie Brown. You pay a nickel and you get not that much worth of therapy talk. Deepest, darkest fear.
Is there, like,
probably Jaws? Like, yeah.
I was gonna say, like, sharks.
Yeah.
Are you really? But, like, what is rational about that? Like, when are you gonna encounter a shark?
Well, I go snorkeling and everything like that. It's fine, but
When's the last time you binged snorkeling?
2019.
Okay, this has been like 2 years. Like, that's not like, aren't you afraid of dying in general?
No.
No.
Not like in a daredevil sense, but no, I don't let. It's not like it's something. The Grim Reaper is behind the corner everywhere I go.
Yeah, my worst fear is that I get cancer and I have to go through chemotherapy and I have to barf every day. Mm-hmm. Because I honestly would probably rather kill myself.
No, you wouldn't.
I just can't imagine that because, like, my biggest fear is throwing up. And, like, throwing up once or twice when I get sick is like, okay, at least I know it's going to be over with. But literally going through a drug therapy that causes you to get sick is terrifying to me.
Yeah, I've seen that firsthand. My mom had breast cancer and through all that, so.
Did she do chemotherapy or radiation?
Both.
She did both?
Yep.
Well, how old were you?
I was a freshman in high school.
Oh, wow. So you're pretty old. So you weren't like young to forget it.
No.
How long did she have to go through therapies?
A year and a half-ish, 2 years.
So they caught it early, so it was...
No, she was pretty far behind, but she survived.
Wow. Being late stage and surviving is...
Yeah.
That's amazing. And she's still in remission?
Still is, yeah.
Wow. What has that been like?
It's been
15 years?
Yeah, ish, yeah.
15 years. Wow. Does she have to get checked like every year, a mammogram?
She was at that point. It was every 6 months, but I think they bumped it up to maybe every year.
Wait, how did they find it?
I forgot that whole story. Maybe it was a bump, or she was starting to feel somewhat ill. So
interesting. My grandmother had breast cancer, but they found it like I think a yearly mammogram, and it was early, and so she went through radiation, not chemotherapy, and she's been in remission for like I think 7 years. But
nice.
Wow. Okay. So biggest fear is Jaws. What were we talking about, Richard? Oh yeah. What's other things like that? You like the stupid little things, like you have other little quirks like the microwave, like Emily was telling me.
Well, they're not quirks to me because they're my everyday life, so I have perfect rationale.
I feel like that's
perfect rationale for each one.
But I think that's kind of like OCD type tendencies. Like you think about things in such minute detail that like
certain things in minute detail, a lot of things not.
What other things cause cancer that deodorant. Oh my god, you don't wear deodorant. Ryne, tell me why you don't. Explain to everybody why you don't wear deodorant.
Well, I don't know like the studies and whatnot, but there's
Speak closer to you.
Sorry, petting Willa here. She needs care. She doesn't get it here.
Oh my god, you're dramatic.
No, so the aluminum and a lot of the antiperspirant deodorants. I don't know. It could just be.
But there's many aluminum-free deodorants.
There are, but do they work?
Yeah, I use aluminum-free deodorant.
You don't work out though. You don't sweat.
Okay, when do you work out, Ryne?
I don't. I think
maybe 2-3 times in my entire, knowing you, have you worked out.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's about as much as I worked out. Yeah.
So why don't you just wear it on a daily basis? Do you not sweat a lot? Do you not get smelly?
I don't. Well, I do get smelly, but
you can't smell yourself. Oh, Ryne.
Yeah.
One thing that you should know about him is he doesn't have a sense of smell, or very, very minimal at best. Right?
Yeah, at best. Yeah, I can make Tabasco in front of me. I can sense that, but yeah, I can't.
Kind of like having like COVID. Like that's what they say is like the strong, like the spices you can kind of taste, like the strong things, but otherwise it's like nothing.
Yeah, between a turd and a strawberries, I couldn't tell the difference.
But then, how would you even know if you had COVID?
Fever, cough. The standard.
Yeah, but a lot of people like their first when they're not symptomatic, their main tell is.
Well, as soon as I have this instant sensation of God, what's this thing going on? Oh, I can smell.
So COVID actually causes you to smell.
It's 2 negatives make a positive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, I've never Emily. She has bad. I don't want to say she has bad BO, but she does.
Yeah.
But with you, I've been around you sometimes. I don't think it necessarily is bad that you don't wear. You're not super smelly, but. I never thought about not wearing deodorant. It was always ingrained in me as a kid. In health class, they talk about it so much.
Yeah, because the teachers don't want to smell, 30 prepubescent boys and girls. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really thought about it, and I'm not do you research this? How do you find out that aluminum causes cancer?
Well, a lot of this was based, from my mom's cancer stuff, and just when you're sitting at the cancer center, you don't really have much time for anything else. You're reading about cancer, so. You just have case studies, and it's not it's concrete. If you do this, you'll get cancer. It's just similar to smoking. If you smoke, you're not guaranteed to get cancer, but year gives you a little boost at your chance. You're gonna increase your odds, possibly.
So these issues kind of stem from your childhood and watching your mom go through cancer treatments.
Yeah, and I was young enough, and she kind of still did this, and I always used to. I was, wrestling and football and everything, and I always liked to sweat there because it was acted out. So as natural lubricant, I always thought it would be bad to prevent something from happening that was natural.
Prevent sweating. I think it prevents the smell.
It's antiperspirant.
What
do you think anti means? It makes you stop sweating.
Well, how does it do that though?
It clogs those pores.
That seems not good.
Yeah.
But then why do people wear it?
Why do people smoke? Because they thought it was like the status quo. You got to do this and do that. And
interesting.
I think, but I'm speaking broadly.
Yesterday I had to watch a whole documentary from one of my classes, and it was talking about aspirin. And I didn't know this, but in the 1800s and early 1900s, the main drugs for pain relievers, fever relievers, inflammation,
cocaine,
were heroin, cocaine, and morphine.
Yeah.
Which are like class A bad drugs.
Well, yeah.
So I was like, doctors literally gave them out like pill poppers, like, and to children as well.
Yeah, because it gave them an instant sensation and it worked. Yeah.
It's insane to me. Like, aspirin was the first, pretty safe and effective, drug for those things. So, okay. So what else? Oh yeah. Emily is going to be in Michigan till November 10th. And I miss her, and you miss her probably less than I do.
Whatever propaganda you want to spread, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Okay. She actually texted me when she told me she was extending it, and she was like, she texted me this long paragraph, and I called her, and she said, I wasn't worried about Ryne, but I'm really worried about how you're going to deal with it. Why are you laughing?
I told her to just do like a Band-Aid. It's like, just text. I'm staying in till November 10th. See you then. Bye.
That's rude.
That's not rude. It's a Band-Aid.
Anyway, I was thinking of planning a trip to go out to see her. I was looking at flights yesterday. I am really afraid of flying because, number one, it's like really claustrophobic for me. Number two, if something bad happens, like, what do I do? I'm stuck on this plane for hours. And number three, I'm terrified of falling out of the sky. So like, there's three like big bads in there for me.
That don't very much. Likely not. You're safer in a plane than a car.
Well, yeah, that's what everybody told me when I was young, and I was afraid, like, you're safer in a plane than a car. Yeah, but like, planes don't go. There's not as many planes in the sky as cars. So like, what about the 1-to-1 ratio?
It's not about cars. It's about people transported and without accidents. Each car crash is not.
Stop being
It's not really looked at, but the FDA always. Each plane crash, they have in the black box, so they always look at it and try to improve the process.
Yeah, but it's just so scary, especially the 20 what is it, a 20-person seater to Kalamazoo?
It's not. It's like 50. It's just your little puddle. It's not that bad.
It's scary.
It's not like it's a prop plane with some duct tape on the wing.
Yeah, that's what it is to me.
It's whatever. It's just your Boeing smaller plane. That's all it is.
Yeah, well, I don't want to fly, but I want to see Emily. So I am trying to pitch to Ryne to drive out to Michigan, which is a 10-hour drive from where we live. Yeah. And I want to convince him to go. What are you thinking? What's your holdbacks? Why don't you want to do this? Why? Tell me. Why?
Well, since we'll be in the car for, let's just say we did it real quick and without minimal stops. It's going to cost. Let's just say it's going to cost us 1 day of total driving. It's like 2 hours of extra pit stops along the way and what.
Yeah.
So that's 1 day right there, and we leave Friday evening, ish.
Friday? You mean you drive through the night?
Yeah, I've done it before. Yeah, I've done it by myself. It's not fun, but you do it.
That seems dangerous.
Only if you fall asleep.
I would sell if we left at 5. Like, that would be a sell for me. Like, if we left Friday at 5, fine.
Yeah, then you get there, about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, but I couldn't leave any later than that. Any later than that, that's like a full night driving through the night. That would fuck me up.
But somebody would just sleep. I've driven.
Yeah, but I can't not drive, Ryne.
Why can't you? You have to drive?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I
have to be in control.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I have anxiety issues, and I get car sick in the car from not driving, and I have bad issues with throwing up.
So you're just gonna sit there? I was gonna sit in the passenger seat for 11 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna actually feel how Emily. That'd be nice.
That's my mom. My mom told me I could not drive. I was banned from driving and using her car, because technically it's.
Yeah, you're not paying the bills.
I'm not paying the bills right now. So it's her car. But she said I'm banned from driving unless Ryne was there. And it's not for you to drive. It's for you to make sure that I'm okay driving, because she knows I wouldn't let you drive. But I don't know why, because I've never driven 10 hours. The most I've driven is probably 7 hours. I drove to Boston, and that's a 4.5 hour drive, but I had to drive to my parents' lake house because I was picking up my grandmother, and she was there. So I drove an hour and a half there, and then we stopped on the way. So it was like a 7 hour drive in total.
Isn't that on the way?
No, it's like it's kind of like a.
Is that left?
Yeah, it's weird.
Okay.
But she just didn't want me to go through New York. She said, I don't want you to go through New York. She is so particular about my driving. So it was a big, like, I don't know why she's particular. She acts like she doesn't trust me.
You're 20 years old. You can't rent a car yet, so.
I don't know what's unsafe. What's so unsafe? I'm safe. I've never, well, I was going to say I've never been in an accident, but I have been in an accident. Not a bad accident. I've only been in one accident with another person. Every other accident I've been in was just myself.
That's nice.
I just popped tires. One time I backed into a bunch of rocks.
Don't use your turn signal.
Okay.
Turning into the pumpkin
When
patch.
I feel like, yeah, okay. I'm not the best at using my turn signal. I'll give you that one. All right, that's
communication's really good on the road, especially you're going at high speeds.
Okay, well, that's why I need you there. That's why my mom wants you there.
I'm not going to tell you, like, right before you make a decision to make sure to turn your turn signal on. You're already past that point.
Well, anyway, so.
I think you should just stay out there for 2 weeks because you have your job, school is. You could do it in 10 bucks. You could do it in 10
Yeah, but
bucks.
that's the thing is, like, I just can't do that. Because being in somebody else's house with no control over every situation in my vicinity would eventually have me on alert mode.
There's a kitchen downstairs.
There's a certain level to it. Like, I can probably, like, max do 4 or 5 days. Max. Otherwise, like, then I start getting, like, no. Then I start getting panic attacks.
Why don't you just do 4 or 5 days and just give a car? Why don't you just push it out as far as you can? Then as soon as you can't do it, hop in the car and head back.
Well, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
But I can't drive there without you.
I picture your mom just. I'm saying, do have to do the 5 hour like that. Your Cleveland idea. Just go.
I pitched. The thing is, so one of the offices in my work, I work remotely, but one of the offices are main places in Cleveland, and Cleveland is on the way. It's actually pretty much, like, not that much of a detour. It's probably like a 30-minute detour off the route.
Toll road, yeah. It's
depending on where
you're going right past it, right south of it.
So I could stop in Cleveland for a day and work at the office, which would basically cut my trip in half.
Cleveland's nice.
I've been once, but I heard it was like one of the most dangerous cities.
You gotta get out more. It's not. No. Everybody has its bad places, you know. Hell, go a block our way.
Yeah, I feel like Baltimore. We want to move to Baltimore eventually, and I feel like Baltimore is probably more dangerous than Cleveland.
What's your rank of dangerous? Tweets about
crimes?
Like crime rates?
Yeah, crime rates.
Oh, okay.
I looked, and Baltimore seems like a really sketchy place.
Parts, yeah.
That scares me. I want to live in a safe place, but I want to live in a city. Is that possible?
Stockholm?
That's a good idea.
I don't know.
I wish wherever I went, I could, like, lift my parents up and take them with me, like, to be, like, 30 minutes away. I wish I was an only child, because if I was, I don't think they were, like, I totally think...
That's not, I hope your sister doesn't listen to this podcast.
Actually, she does. No, I don't wish... I would wish I was an only child because I wish if I decided to move somewhere completely different, like, if I decided to move to California,
yeah.
They would be more comfortable moving out there with me. Who's Emily's friend?
Willa, no.
Willa! Who's Emily's friend that has parents like that? Is it Kendall?
That pick up and move?
Yeah, she said she had one of her friends who just moved said, I was like, well, what about her parents? And she said, oh, well, they would move anywhere with her.
Maybe them, but I doubt it.
I don't know.
I'm sure if they asked and like begged and did it, they would do it. But they have
I wonder if I begged my parents if they would.
Does your mom have to go to work?
No, she works remotely.
Your dad remotely too?
3 days remote. but he's retiring in like a year, 2 years.
Well, there you go.
By the way, my dad's turning 60. In what day is it? Like 3-4 weeks? No, 4 weeks. It's the 21st, so 4 weeks.
Nice.
I feel like now, like as I'm like 20 years old and I'm realizing my dad's turning 60, I had an old dad. How old are your parents? Are your parents 60 yet?
My dad was born, he's going to be 60 in 3 years.
Are you kidding me? You're going to be 33 when your dad turns 60. And you're 10 years older than me. And my dad is turning 60 before your dad. What?
Let me explain the reproductive process.
No.
How that.
Were your parents like the first people they ever were with? Like, were they married before previously or no?
Negative.
No. Were you the first child?
I was first child. I think that they had me. My dad had me in his late 20s.
Yeah, that's not even that early though. Like late 20s is pretty normal. Yeah, I guess my dad was just weird. He had me at 40. But it was a second too.
I think, didn't Da Vinci have kids when he was in the 70s? So I think, that's whatever.
That whole situation with like old dads like being like 70, like their kids are, by the time their kids are like 25, they're gonna be dead. How can you even evaluate at that and say that you want to do that? You're gonna traumatize your kids.
Are you? The kid has life, Okay, here's your life. That's a pretty good gift. Good.
Whatever. Anyway, so we're doing a surprise party for my dad, which Emily was supposed to be here to help plan, and she was supposed to make. We're in charge of decorations and party favors, and we had this whole plan for party favors, and she was supposed to help me now.
What favors were they be?
Little old Abby, we were supposed to do glass etchings. So we were gonna get like beer glasses, like those little like the fancy ones,
like a Pilsner
for
glass?
stouts. Yeah, Pilsner. And we were gonna use her Cricut, and there's a way like with specific chemicals that you can make an etching into
acid,
it.
Like acid. It takes
Yeah. But it's complicated, and I don't really know how to use the Cricut. Emily's the one that knows. And it would take a lot of time. We would need to make 25. So with
how many people are coming?
25.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 20.
All right.
But without Emily, I couldn't do it. There's no way. I would need her. It would be like a multi-day project even with her. So I had to can that idea. Now the idea I'm doing is I'm going to make beer lollipops. The whole theme is cheers and beers to 6 years old.
Doesn't sound good.
It's not beer flavored. It's like a little, like it's like a beer, like a.
I pour a Bud Light in an ice cube tray. That's what you get.
No. It's I'm using melted chocolate, so it's a chocolate lollipop. Like it's like a. So you have a.
But it's shaped like a beer can or something.
Yeah, not a beer can, but like those big
mugs.
Like the 20 ounce, like the 30 ounce things.
Like the German flask.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's shaped like that. So I got yellow and white chocolate melts, and I'm going to be making those. So that's more of a manageable project by myself. But the big thing is my mom told me last night when I called her, she wants to get my dad a vintage Corvette.
Yeah. That'd be a much better gift than some beer lollipops.
Okay, well I have another gift. I have a sign that will go on the magnet for the back of his car that said
Best dad.
No, it says beware senior drivers.
Yeah, I'll take the old Stingray Corvette over that, but
Well, I guess my dad is obsessed with Corvettes. Like he owned 3 when he was young, and he's been talking about for years about wanting to get a vintage Corvette. And I was just so shocked that my mom was actually looking at it. Like she's like willing to drop like a 20,000 on a vintage.
Oh, that's a cheap.
Well, yeah, she's not looking at like the most famous years because I looked it up. It was like probably like 500,000, 2 million.
Yeah, you're getting like some of those were really.
Some of them are good, but she's looking at like the off years, not the famous years, not the best cars, but something that like
with some replacement parts, like the ones that go where like have all original engines, everything's original and.
Exactly. She just wants something clean, drivable, and that looks good that my dad would be happy about. So she's looking to spend between like 15 to 20, and I was just shocked. I was like, oh my god, like what?
That's not that much. That's like that's like a decent good size or
But
good
as a
used car.
gift, that's the most expensive gift I've ever experienced in my life.
Yeah, that's like a 10-year gift. So, and you know, and they're towards their. Yeah, that's what you do when as you get older, you start giving those bigger gifts because you have moolah, a little more moolah towards the end. If you do it
You know
right.
what my ex told me?
This guy again. Ugh.
I know. He actually literally specifically told me when I told him that my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, got her for her birthday a Louis Vuitton purse, which is like it was a small purse, so it was probably around $1,000, maybe tops $2,000.
It was real.
It was real, and they bought it together at the store. But when I told him, he looked at me and he said, "I will never get you a gift that expensive." That I didn't say anything at the time because I was such a fucking pushover in my relationship that like anything he told me, I would be like, yeah, okay. I would somehow justify it in my brain. Like
you justify. You justify. You just didn't like just go with it. You're just like, okay, whatever.
I justified it like, okay, well, it's fine. Like maybe he'll change his mind, or maybe like he I love him and that's all that matters. But like looking back on the little things he said to me, like who the frick looks at you right in the eyes to somebody that they love, and we were already planning on we wanted to get married in like 5 years, and like we were planning on moving in together. Who would look at that person that they love and tell them, "I would never get you something that expensive ever"? Like that is so.
Wait. I guess he's never going to buy you a car. Or help you buy
exactly.
For a car.
Like that's so demeaning
or a dog.
Exactly. You spend more on half of Emily's dog.
Shh, quiet.
It's just like.
That is 𝐨𝐧𝐥𝐢𝐬 on the 5 listeners a.
It's just like, why would you say that to your significant other? What makes you say that?
I don't know. Go ask him, Abby.
Do you honestly feel like? Do you think he actually loved me at all, or do you think that he just had a specific way of treating his loved ones, and like that way?
I don't know. Maybe did he treat you? Maybe he did the same thing for everybody else. And I was.
He loved his mother more than me. Probably. He'd probably get his mother a fucking Louis Vuitton purse.
Well, she did give birth to him and raised him and did everything else, and you just showed up, a few months before.
Ryne, here's the thing though. There's a difference between maternal love and romantic love.
Of course.
Like there's a separation of powers of church and state in these two things. You have to understand, like, there's an age that you come that like you love your mother and you love because she went through so much for you. She probably did so many things and sacrificed a lot for you.
Yes.
But I'm sure it hits home a lot because you had to see her go through cancer treatments and almost lose her. So it's even more meaningful to you. But there's also a point that like that you can still love your mothers that much, but also move to a different stage in your life where you have a completely different love for your significant other.
That is true.
And your priorities change.
Your heart gets bigger, you can love more, perhaps.
Sure.
Okay.
But your priorities shift. Like you're no longer thinking about your mother in that way, and you're thinking more about your partner. Like I guess in my mind, like I always felt like he was prioritizing his mother's feelings and his mother over me. And I was like, as a 23-year-old guy, I mean, he still lived at home, so I guess he never really moved through the maturing stage in his life. But you have to kind of understand there's an age that you move on, and you have to stop thinking about your mother as like your one and top love.
Well,
it's a little...
Yeah, it's a little weird, but it's still your mom.
Oedipus
It's still your
complex.
mom.
It's a little Oedipus. Emily worried at one point that you had a little Oedipus with your mom.
Well, she didn't know who that was till you probably even told her, so...
No, actually, she learned about child development. I'm sure she learned about Oedipus.
I guarantee she never read the Greeks. Is it Greek?
Yeah, it was Greek.
Yeah. I'm sure she never read that.
But I didn't read it, but I learned about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I would say 90% of the people who know about the Oedipus complex have not read the Greek novel about it.
Do they know? Well, I think that's a pretty... Well, is Oedipus complex just a leaning towards your mother, or is it like Oedipus... First off, Oedipus didn't even know it was his mother, so...
Yeah, I actually didn't know that until I heard about it on another podcast they were talking about it, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know this. I knew the story existed. I didn't know that he didn't even know it was his mother.
Yeah, he killed his father on the road, and
Yeah, I was always, I don't know, I always believed, like, for some reason, maybe somebody told me this, but I always thought it was like he loved his mother and then he killed his father because he wanted to be with his mother.
No, it's not.
But it sounds like that's not how the story went.
It's not that backwoods.
But I think the way I learned about Oedipus was more like through Freud, and that's probably the lesson that I learned, that term. But it's like, you have this, you want to be your father. Essentially, like how I was taught is like most guys grow up wanting to be their father and love their mother in a romantic way, and most girls grow up wanting to love their father, like be their mother and love their father in a romantic way.
Freud's a loon, so.
But Freud is a quack. It's not. That's not. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying that's what I learned through Freudian psychology. I'm not saying that that's at all.
Hopefully that wasn't your whole experience with psychology.
Oh no.
Okay.
That's Freud is.
You went to a Freudian school. It's like, you're about 100 years off on the time. You missed 100 years of.
Freud was a pivotal period in psychology.
Of course.
Every psychology student learns about it. There's so many different, like, it's hard to keep track because there's so many. You need to know all of the different periods in psychology. There's behavioral psychology with Skinner, with Pavlov, operant conditioning. There's Gestalt psychology, functional psychology. Obviously, the big thing now is cognitive psychology. That's the big, belief now, is that a lot of it has to do with pathways and neurons in your brain. But yeah, how did we even get on this track? I don't even remember where we were.
You have another question? You have a new rabbit hole to go down?
Oh yeah. My ex told me so many things. Looking back on it, I accepted it. I probably made one stink once in our relationship about it, and he found a way to flip it back on me and was like, why would you tell me that I hurt you, because it only hurts me when I hear that I hurt you. It was like such a manipulative way of saying things. But I came across this like TikTok once where it said, when girls break up with you, they've known about like wanting to break up with you for months. Like they've planned it, they've got up the nerve, and there's no going back. There's no getting them back. There's no asking for them back because they already went through the 5 stages of grief. How many stages? But guys, when they break up, it's more of a spur of the moment. I don't know how true this is, but I just read it and I was like, that makes so much sense, because I had to spend probably 2 months building up the courage to break up with my ex and convincing myself it was the best decision, because I would go back and forth like telling my friends about what the shit he would do to me, and then seeing him and being like, I still love him and I cannot do this. It was almost like he strung me along with these little breadcrumbs that he would give me just enough to hold on, but then when I needed him, he was never there.
Yeah, for the full course, you just
exactly.
Yeah.
It was never a full relationship. And then when he wanted to get me back, I was already so done with it. I was like, there's no going back. I can't.
You burn the ships.
Exactly.
You burn the ships.
Anyway, so did you hear about the Alec Baldwin shooting?
I did.
That's insane. If you asked Emily, she probably said she didn't hear about it. But Alec Baldwin was on
set, and he discharged. I just read the affidavit briefly. Affidavit it was believed to be a Colt gun, and I don't know how the setup of a set works with guns and whatnot. So
well, I was listening. I listen to a lot of podcasts because I have to listen to podcasts or videos while I work because I need something in the background noise to work. I was listening to a podcast yesterday about how there's a lot of layers of security when using any type of real gun. There's supposed to be like an armorer. There's like a specific person that checks it, and they say out loud exactly what they're doing as they're doing it. And then as they're handing it to the person, they will say cold gun and make sure that everybody knows it's a cold gun.
Meaning is blanks.
Meaning blanks.
No.
What is
hot gun?
Well, I don't think they say hot gun, but not non-live rounds. So the thing behind this whole shooting was it started with a walkout of a few people that said it was a low budget film and some people weren't getting paid. They said that safety protocols were not what they were supposed to be because of the budget.
I saw that, yeah.
And so they walked out, and the next day to continue filming, they brought in non-union people, like a makeshift crew to continue filming. This is for the movie Rust. And so so it was a little bit like of a weird situation. Like they didn't have their original team, and I'm sure things weren't up to snuff as they should be in a professional film studio. So essentially they came out with the search warrant for like the document, and it was released that supposedly the person said, the armorer said cold gun, and they gave it to Alec, and he was practicing a scene where he would shoot the camera, and he shot, and it was a live round, and it ended up hitting the cinematographer Helena, and as well as another person, which I don't know their name.
Went through her and went
through her and hit the other person, which the second person survived, and Helena did not survive. She had a stomach wound. So the armor was Hannah Gutierrez Reed, and the assistant director who handed the gun to Baldwin was Dave Halls. So obviously, like, there was, like, how does that mix-up even happen? Why are you even bringing live rounds onto a set? And why are we even using a real gun? Like, why? I didn't even know they used real guns on film sets. I always assumed that they used prop guns.
Well, what's the difference? Like,
well, one I think is fake, and you can't shoot anything out of it, and the other, like, you could feed it blanks and rounds.
Maybe they were trying to, like, for that up and close shot. You know, you need the muzzle flash and everything else. You need that, that shell discharge and everything. Make a good authentic feel, possibly. And I don't know, for live rounds, maybe he was shooting at something. And he was maybe hit like a sign or something, and they were using that as a way. But yeah, it seems strange they would have live rounds.
It's just so bizarre. At first I was like, maybe there was something up. Like, sometimes blanks can have problems where they can, like,
really
release something, like something with a mechanism.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But no, it sounds like it was a live round. And
was it I wonder if it was just one live bullet inside this clip of blanks, or if it somehow got mixed in.
Yeah, because typically, I heard that they're supposed to only put as much in the gun as you're going to shoot. So you do it for each take or each practice, you would put in as much so you know what's in there. So I would assume they'd only put one, but maybe they didn't.
Maybe they're doing 9 takes or 10 takes.
Yeah, that's so, like, I don't know how that happens. And then now too, like, I've heard a lot of people talking about how it's going to affect Alec Baldwin. I mean, how he killed someone. Like, yeah. He discharged a gun and it shot and killed someone. So how do you even, like, grapple with the guilt over that and understanding it wasn't your fault? Like, you did what you were supposed to do, and there was nothing. I don't think there's anything he could have done to prevent it.
Probably something like maybe somebody going to war, dealing with that. You didn't start this. Let's say like World War II vets. You didn't start this war, but somebody. You shot somebody. You had this killing experience.
I wonder if anybody's going to go to jail, because ultimately the responsibility is of the armorer and the assistant director. Those are the two people that are supposed to be responsible for live weapons on set. So I imagine if there is criminal charges, it would be to those two people. I'm just curious if there are going to be, or if it's just going to be called negligence, and maybe they'll get,
I'm sure the family will
probation.
There'll be a civil suit, and
yeah. I'm sure 100% there'll be a civil suit. I'm not even guessing on that one. But yeah, that kind of scares me, because I don't know.
But that's just. There was there's been sets like that all over. I forgot the movie, but it was a set in Vietnam, and they were I forgot where they're filming. They're filming like in Vietnam, Cambodia area, and they were having these unsafe practices in the 80s. This helicopter fell down and killed, I think, 2 Vietnamese children. They're using Vietnamese kids for
Extras.
for help.
For help on set?
Yeah, I forgot the exact thing. I think he directed Coming to America. I forgot the director, but he caught a lot of flack for that and everything. And
oh my God.
yeah, I'll have to look that up.
That's,
exactly. But
yeah.
it's not it's rare for that, but it has there is a precedence for like nowhere. There's no such thing like the old like steel mills and everything. People died all the time in those.
I wonder if he's ever gonna act again, because I remember Kim Kardashian was robbed at gunpoint and tied up, and people were like, she's like never gonna probably come back to the public eye, and she took like I think a good 6 months off, but then she came back, and now it's been a few years, but I wonder if he'll go through coping and come back and work again. I mean, he's old too. Like he could retire and still be well off.
Well, I'm sure most of those people are artists. Maybe they do it for the money, but yeah, they probably just. It's good, good actors like to act.
Like Meryl Streep. Like I'm sure she does at this point for like.
I think she's just trying to get more. I think she's just trying to get more Oscars.
Yeah, that's true. Get an EGOT maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think it's been like 40 minutes. I told Ryan that it would only be a 45-minute episode because he needs to skedaddle to do whatever the hell he has to do on a Tuesday night.
Lay down.
No, but I should have to do some stuff too. I have some work left to do. So we'll end it here. Thank you, Ryne, for joining us today.
Thank you, Abby, and thank you, Bacon Emmy, for not being here so I can fill your spot.
Yeah.
And thank you.
You might have to do it next week too.
Well, if you just drive over there, you can do it. Remote.
I'll have
podcast.
to bring the microphones.
You have a car. I don't think it'd be that big a video.
Yeah, you have to really think about it because, come on, you think about the driving. Think about it for the next day, 24 hours, and like just meander it around in your brain a little bit. Just like swish it around.
Abby, yeah, okay, I'll switch it around a little bit.
Swish it around, just swish
Talk to your mom. Just I'm telling you, you can do it. Just drive your 5-6 hours.
Don't you miss Emily? Don't you love her?
No, I don't love her. No, yeah, of course I do, but I don't know. Does that mean I have to do everything in my power to get back to her? It's not a Hallmark movie, okay?
Well, the first thing my mom asked is like, "Is there something going on with her and Ryne? Is she staying there because she was trying to get away from him?"
Yeah.
I was like, "No."
Yes.
It's so weird though. The whole thing just reads so weird to me because I feel like I don't know. It's just so weird. I was like, is there another reason? There has to be something going on. I just don't know why she would extend it. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway.
Well, I know she's coming back because she left all her clothes here, so she's not.
We know she's coming back at some point. She never leave her earrings here.
The earrings, shoes, those are her babies.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we might see you next week with Ryne again, or you might see me with Emily in Michigan. Who knows? Or Ryne, Emily, and me in Michigan.
And Gigi.
And Gigi and Willa.
And Willa.
That's one main reason I really want to go is because I have Gigi's costume. I bought it the day before. She told me. Pissed me off. So they have to have matching costumes, so they have to be together. So.
For Halloween.
Exactly. And we need to film a video for Saturday. So if I don't go, you're going to have to film with me. We're going to have to go to the haunted, to Dorney Haunt.
I'm not doing that.
You're not going to Dorney Haunt.
Actually, my boss, he knows the GM at Dorney. So if you need some weird stuff, like some back behind the scenes stuff, let me know.
Oh my God, that'd be so cool. But you'd have to do it with me. I'm not a by myself type of gal. I'm a co-host type of gal. I like to bounce off of people. Otherwise, I'm super boring.
Gotcha. You're not a one-man show?
No, 100%. That's why I started my YouTube channel with Emily, because I needed somebody, and our dynamic worked perfectly.
You're better than Batman and Robin.
We are. Okay, well, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of We Talk A Lot. I'm Abby.
Ryne.
And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.